You know when people say learning a language will change your life? Yeah, I used to think that was just motivational Instagram nonsense like, sure bro, speaking French is gonna make me a whole new person, but then I actually did it. I learned multiple languages and suddenly it wasn't just new words I was collecting, it was new personalities, new ways of thinking, even new outlook on life. So yeah, apparently I have multiple personalities. Not because I need therapy, well, maybe that too, but because I speak different languages. One of the weirdest but coolest thing is that I act completely different depending on the language I'm speaking. For example, in Slovak, I'm calm, straightforward, very get to the point. In English, I turn into like a sarcastic, witty walking meme. Then in Spanish, for example, suddenly I'm shouting, waving my arms around, making friends with the fucking bus driver and his cousin and probably their dog too. And in German, well, I just start planning everything 3 weeks ahead and correcting grammar. It's literally like unlocking DLC skins in a video game, except instead of armor, you kinda unlock the bad accents and new personalities. And the crazy part is that it's not fake. Like, psychologists have studied this, and your brain literally flips a switch. Like, new language, new personality, boom. Learning a language doesn't just teach you words, it teaches you a whole new way to see the world. When you speak a new language, you start noticing things you never did before. For example, some languages make you focus more on time, others on relationships, and some on details you normally ignore. It also trains your brain to be more flexible. You learn to think in multiple ways at once. For example, in English, you might be very direct. In Japanese, you might think more about how your words affect others. In Spanish, you might focus on emotions and stuff like relationships. Basically, every language is like a lens. The more lenses you have, the more ways you can look at the same situation. And once your brain starts switching between these lenses, you start seeing things that never occurred to you before. Simple stuff like noticing a joke, a gesture, or even just a different way to solve a problem. Learning languages doesn't just make you smarter, it makes you see the world in bigger and more interesting ways. And honestly, this is the best part. You stop living in just one version of reality. When you learn a new language, you don't just learn words, you step into someone else's world. You realize, oh, that German guy isn't being rude, he's just efficient. That French guy isn't ignoring you, he's just, well, he's French, but you get the point. It forces you to be more empathetic, more open-minded. You stop assuming your way of thinking like is the default. Like some cultures don't even have same concept of privacy as others. And once you see that, you start to realize your culture is not the center of the universe. Language basically smacks you in the face with like the humbling truth. You knew nothing, but like in a good way. Now let's be real. Languages will humble you fast. You will embarrass yourself. You will say something wrong, probably something very awkward. I once tried to tell a friend in Spanish that I was feeling avergonzado, which means embarrassed, but instead I accidentally said embarazado, which actually means pregnant. They just blinked at me for a second and started laughing like, yeah, what? But that's the beauty of it. Every mistake makes you tougher. When you can survive accidentally announcing a fake pregnancy, trust me, job interviews feel like a breeze. Mistakes stop being scary. You realize language isn't about perfection, it's about the connection to the language itself and the culture. And once that mindset clicks, it doesn't just change how you learn languages, it changes how you approach your whole life. And of course, then there's the obvious reason, like the doors languages open. Jobs, travel, friendships, dating. Yes, I know some of you are learning French for romantic reasons, no judgment. But seriously, each language is like a key, and the more keys you have, the more doors you can open. And sometimes the best doors aren't even the big shiny ones. It's the small random ones, like understanding a joke that only works in that language, or making a friend on a trip you never would have talked to otherwise. It's like discovering secret rooms in a house you thought you already knew. Suddenly the world feels way bigger and way more exciting. So yeah, languages didn't just give me skills, they gave me a different version of myself. They rewired my brain, expanded my world, made me more empathetic, more confident, and honestly, made my life way more fun. Because in the end, learning a language isn't about the vocabularies or grammar charts, it's about seeing life through 1,000 different windows. And once you see the view, trust me, you'll never want to go back. Oh, and the best perk, when people talk about you in another language thinking you don't understand, you slap back with perfect fluency. That alone was worth at least 2 years of study. That's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed and see you in the next one. Bye bye.